All right. Oh, go ahead, Tim. Come on up.
Hello, everyone.
Good evening.
So I'm Tim Matthews, 72 Linville Road, Ringgoes.
Yes.
I'm here as a member of the Board of Directors of the Animal Valley Ambulance Corps. And I want to thank you for your consideration and support of our grant. As you know, there's a grant for the county that's due. We've prepared all the documents. We're ready to go. We're just waiting on a letter of support from this township committee. Hopefully you'll find that favorable, as the other communities we serve have already acknowledged that for us also. So we appreciate that. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. All right. Anyone else from the public? Okay. We are seeing there are no further comments. I'd like to close the meeting to the public without objection. I didn't skip. Yeah. Okay. All right, so we're here to special discussion. We're here to talk about these letters of support, which the committee is aware of. I scheduled this meeting because I didn't think I think the whole committee should weigh in on giving the letter of support. Tim, you probably know I've had constant conversations with Pete. In fact, Pete drafted the letter. Linda made one minor change at the bottom. We just took some wording out that had to do with Flemington Rescue Squad. So that the committee, I believe, has all had a chance to read the letter. Are you here, Tim? Are you in a position to give any updates on where you're at, or no?
I'm happy to do so if the committee would like that.
Okay.
I'm happy to.
So, I mean, I know the last couple months has been a little rough for the squad as far as getting out. Money is a different issue, right? We're trying to get this going to hopefully get a grant and get some money going that way. But I know the rescue squad's had some struggles getting out. I did get a phone call this morning from Tom Hoffman that, as you know, I think tomorrow they stop even covering. Tom Hoffman's with the Flemington Raritan Rescue Squad. They stop responding to even help during daytime mutual aid. When I talked to Pete over the weekend, we didn't talk about an update of where we're at with calls for service. I understand May was a rough month, and from getting out the door, I haven't had any updates on June. Do you have any update you want to share with that, or?
Well, I can share what I can share.
Okay.
I'm not in the weeds.
Do you guys mind if he comes up and shares?
Mind if I? Yeah, I'm happy to share whatever I can real time with you in total transparency. So, as you know, we've now instituted a board. Right now, we're attempting to grow that board, not having much success finding the members we're looking to find. We're primarily focusing on someone or persons who can add value in terms of fundraising expertise, because I think, obviously money, top line is what drives everything. But be that as it may, as you know, the lack of, we proposed a 3-tranche structure to you, and you chose to fund us to a certain level. And due to that level of funding, we had to essentially terminate the idea of paying the fee for mutual aid, because we don't have it, right? So as you know, one of the roughly 35,000 we asked for from the Township Committee was clearly a pass-through just for mutual aid coverage in what's expected mutual aid. And had we had that, we would have ventured into those negotiations, renegotiating those mutual aid agreements from a better position of strength. Clearly, not having the funding and not having sources of funding right now, we couldn't commit as a board financially to make those payments. So due to that, Flemington decided to respond the way they did, which is unfortunate, because these folks are all well-meaning. They're volunteers. They're well-meaning. They like to come out and help the community. So obviously that's disappointing. We're still moving forward with some other ideas on strategic plans, mergers, consolidating assets and things with others. We're finding some positive areas of communication in that area, but it's going to take time. So the clear challenge we have right now is funding. Without a source of funding that's reliable, fundraisers just aren't yielding what they had in the past due to several reasons we've talked about. Again, we don't want to go back and, when people in the community feel, that the organization isn't viable, they tend not to fund it. They tend not to volunteer or donate as much as they'd like. So we're trying to correct that. You know, my philosophy of this whole thing is that, you know, success breeds success, right? If we can make it successful, more people will want to be involved, more volunteers, the whole thing will grow. But until we have some success, you know, it's going to be challenging. So it is a rough patch, as you say. But, you know, some of the things that I've heard, and again, I don't know if you're going to address these, some of these, I'm hearing some back channel discussions, reopening the bids, you know, looking at, you know, lower cost. I think what was clear in the first time, the costs are what they are. I mean, it was evident by those who participated and provided a response that it's not a cheap proposition. Things are expensive. Finding volunteers is cheaper. The perfect solution is to have paid EMTs, right? That's where we'd like to get, but that costs money. So that's where we are in terms of the day-to-day stats. I know, you know, some of the calls. I know personally, my neighbor called, and it took 35 minutes for an ambulance to come, and it was Lambertville that finally arrived. Unfortunate, our staff wasn't there, right? But we know, you know, we know what our schedules are. We have scheduled, you know, commitments, and then when we're not scheduled, we have to rely on other parties. So it's unfortunate that that's the time frame, and I don't think that can improve unless you hold a vendor or a third party to a service level agreement. And I don't think anyone is going to commit to that in this current, you know, climate of the way staffing and resourcing is in any volunteer or pseudo-volunteer environment. So, you know, I think all of us are struggling in terms of the financial situation, but it is solvable. You know, I think if the community at large, you know, feels that this is a good use of their tax dollars, clearly the best way to go is through this committee and future committees, and ask you guys to fund us as best you can. And we appreciate what we're getting, but it isn't enough. You know, and as I've said before, it isn't enough, and our proposal was very transparent, very minimalist, right? We were, you know, asking for what we thought was rock bottom, and then the rest would come in fundraising. So, at any rate, if there's any other questions I can answer, I don't know if that addressed.
Yeah, that was helpful. Yeah, that was helpful.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. God, you have any questions? So yeah, well, everything Tim said is. Sounds like that's conversations that we've all had, we've all heard. They've had those conversations with Lambertville, they've had those conversations with Flemington. I can't speak for Flemington and Lambertville because I can't, but my understanding of all those mutual aid agreements, they were temporary solutions, that Flemington was already 18 months or 2 years longer than they wanted to be at. So I think that's bigger than continuing that funding. You are correct. There's always been open communications between the committee and all the rescue squads, including Amwell Valley. In fact, Linda did send out today a final and best. There's been a conversation because when May happened, when Lambertville and Flemington got the notice that they were the mutual aid agreement to pay per call was going to be dissolved, they reached out to the committee and said, hey, we got to do something. I do know about the 35 minutes. I didn't know that was your neighbor. I thought that was a White House rescue squad that came, not Lambertville, but maybe this happened more than once. Yeah, because Flemington stopped nighttime calls as of like May 1st, I think it was, and then daytime calls will stop tomorrow. They just have their own responsibilities, so they can't help like that right now. So there are conversations. There has been conversations going on the whole time with the other rescue squads, and Lambertville does have some interest in revisiting the agreement, which I had a long conversation with Pete about that this week, and I assume he's shared that with you. We don't have anything right now. The committee hasn't spoken about it other than knowing that there was a conversation. If the paperwork all comes in by July, I don't know who you sent the Amwell final and best to. Who does that go to, Rob, or does that go to Tim and Pete?
I think I copied them.
Okay.
No, I copied Pete on there, and it went
Okay.
to Rob. I
So you
responded
should
to
see
the old
that
email.
email if you guys check, and you can always call me if you have any questions, but we're waiting to see what happens with that, what Lambertville puts in. Pete and I had some conversations about what that may look like if the committee goes in that direction, but I don't know what direction the committee is going to go in because we just don't have anything in writing right now. So. You can. Yeah, but I opened the door for it, since we're the only ones, I opened the door for it, so, all right.
Just, I'm just being real frank here. So, if you go in the direction that some of the conversations have happened, that would mean Amwell wouldn't be primary, right? So that would mean, we probably may not get funding from various grant sources, because it requires you to be the primary EMS provider in the community. So, that would be unfortunate. So, the one question that I have is timing. It is a holiday, asking for something on such short notice.
Right.
Would love to get a little delay in that if possible. But also, I'd prefer you to wait and see and not take any action till you see how the grants are led. Because the grants are helpful. I mean, we've asked for a good sizable grant. We think we're positioned to get it. We've outlined exactly what it would be used for. And it would be unfortunate if a short-sighted decision derailed that, because we'd find ourselves in a worse situation as a squad. Essentially, we'd have no calls to respond to unless we decided to collaborate with another party. And the better solution is to merge and share the assets. So the assets aren't available under a situation unless you go through a formal merge, consolidation of the actual legal entities. I mean, that's where we'd like to head, because we have some substantial assets. We have a facility, we have ambulances, we have equipment. People aren't really an asset because nobody's subject to that specific squad, right? So yeah, they're fungible, they'll move around, but if you go down a path of essentially excluding Amwell Valley as the primary EMS provider in this town, it will get bad very quickly. It'll just deteriorate very quickly. People will probably jump ship, funding will dry up completely, and you won't be any better off. You'll have 30-minute response times. I mean, there's no way with the money you're talking about they're going to be able to commit to another ambulance closer to buy with another full set of staff. The labor model just doesn't work. So, I would ask you to just have patience. We're trying to fix this. Let's let the grants go through. It's fine. Go out and get a best and final. We'll provide our best and final. My guess is our best and final is going to look a lot like what we gave you, because we were being very honest about what funding we need as a squad. Others, you have to ask how they can come down so much. How can you be here and then come down to here? That sounds like desperation to me. It sounds like someone who just wants to get some cash. It wasn't a true. Which response was correct? The first one?
So what I'll say to that, though, is I think once we get all this in, we'll have this open
Yeah,
conversation.
yeah.
And I opened the door to have this dialogue, which, I wanted, you're here, so
Yeah,
we
I
can
just
talk
wanted to
about
let you
it.
know my thinking. and
I
feeling.
appreciate
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, I mean, you guys are going to do what you're going to do. I'm just letting you know.
Well, what
from
I
my
would say to
position
that
as
is
a
we're gonna
board.
do what we think is right for the town,
Yeah.
right? Not what we wanna do, what's right for the town, but we have to see it all, we just don't have it, okay?
Yeah.
All right, so, go ahead.
Well, okay, if you're done with like the Q&A part of it, so I'd like to make a motion and explain the basis of my motion.
Go ahead.
My motion would be that we authorize you as the mayor to write a letter in support of Amwell Valley Rescue's application for a grant. My thinking is that I want to make sure to give Amwell Valley every possible opportunity to raise money, and they said that there's grant money available, and so I think allowing them to do that will allow them to put their best foot forward for their operations, and also in whatever best and final bid they're able to put forward, because if they have the ability to say at least that they've applied for this grant, and if they get it, it'll make this difference, and here's where they would be. To me, that just allows them to put themselves in the best possible light. So for me, I think it's a no-brainer. We've always supported them. I don't see any reason why we wouldn't support their ability to try to raise more money. So that's my motion, that we empower you to do that.
Well, all right, so part of tonight is the fire department's on there too, will you add that to your motion?
Well, I thought we were going to talk about that
Okay,
separately.
oh, yeah, that's fine, okay.
Yeah.
So I'll second your motion if I'm allowed to.
Yeah.
All right, yeah. So we are gonna write the letter for support, because that's what we have right now. We have Amwell Valley, we're standing behind them with this grant opportunity. All right, the next one on the
So,
list,
so
go ahead.
before, let's take a formal vote, because,
Yeah, you're
I mean,
right.
everyone is nodding their head yes, but I would say, suggest we vote, because, I wanna make sure that we're formally supporting them, and any letter that you send is, fully authorized.
Okay,
Mr. DePiero,
Yes.
Ms. Enton,
Yes.
Mr. Nardi,
Yes.
Mayor Dendis.
yes,
Thank you.
of course.
Yeah.
All right, next item is the same letter, for the fire department. Max Jason called me, asked for that letter of support. Also, I think they're ready to send it out to their grant, they're just waiting on us to send a letter of support. Does anybody want to make a motion that, have me send that letter? All right,
Maybe if you could just summarize the overall, so the public understands just the nature, the scope.
yeah, he
just-
did.
Just a brief
I'm sorry.
description.
He
Just-
did
just so
tell
that-
us, Max is putting in for, do you remember what they're putting in for?
I don't think I knew what they were putting in for.
He is putting, I could be, there's equipment that cleans turnout gear. I guess when you go into a fire, you get chemicals on the equipment, and I believe that's what he's putting in for. So this is the same grant the rescue squad's putting in for. I don't recall exactly what the rescue squad was putting in for either. It was not in writing, it was in a conversation. So that's the letter of support, for the fire department, for them to buy more equipment that the county's gonna fund.
Okay.
All right. Can I get a motion for that letter, that I can prepare and sign that letter?
Second.
You got Al, then Bev, and then take a roll call?
Mr. DePiero,
Yes.
Mr. Nardi,
Yes.
Ms. Enton,
Yes.
Mayor Dendis.
Yes. All right. I reopen to the public, Linda?
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay. All right. This meeting is now open to the public. Go ahead, ma'am.
Kim Geist, 217 Mountain Road in Ringgoes. My comment is not directly addressing anything on here, except I'm on Facebook a little too much, and apparently a lot of people are planning fireworks, which I don't believe we allow them to just do fireworks, and they've already done them in May on Memorial Day. And some people have complained and back and forth. My concern is if they don't have a permit and they don't have the fire department there to supervise this, they shouldn't be going on. Are we actively looking to make sure that people are not going to be doing this? Because now that's the 250th, everybody wants to do something on their own. And it really concerns me because we are so dry. Anything can light up anything. And now we got all sorts of problems with that. So that's my main issue. And the other thing I just want to make a comment about, if we have money for a basketball court at Clawson Park, could we not have the money for the Amwell Valley Rescue Squad? Just putting that out there.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, anybody else want to comment? Go ahead, Tim.
Just two things. One is, first, I'd like to thank you for your support for the grant. We're looking forward to it. I think it'll be exciting to get a grant. That, like I said, success builds success. You start getting some good things happening, and good things happen. The other thing I just wanted to bring to your attention, I just noticed this. I've lived on Linvale Road for 26 years or whatever it is. I noticed, and maybe you could let Jason know this, when you're coming up Linvale from Rocktown, going up the hill, when you hit the first kind of S-turn, there's a sign that says 25 miles an hour, but then the next sign says like 30, 35 miles an hour. They're reversed. It should be 30, slow down the curve, but it actually sort of suggests that you speed up. So I just noticed, I was walking the other day, I was like, is that really? I
I
wanted to
think
take
I've heard
pictures.
stuff like this before.
Yeah, I wanted to take pictures, but I forgot. But anyway, just if you
I'll
could just
mention it.
relay that to
Yeah,
Jason.
I'll call
Take
him
a look
tomorrow.
at those signs and just see if maybe I'm missing something.
All right, I made a note on that. I'll call in the morning. Thanks for that. All right. Any other comments? All right, seeing there are no further comments, I'd like to close this meeting to the public without objection. Okay, before we adjourn, I'll comment on the fireworks. Ma'am, some fireworks are legal in New Jersey.
No, not the ones that they were proposing.
I don't know who, though. You're talking about a resident or commercial
Yes.
property? Well, I mean, if you see that, the best resource for that is to call the police.
Well, I found out one after the fact, but you can hear them. I mean, you can hear them going off. If you can hear them going off, they're probably too big just to be, but we don't have a police department.
Sure we do. The New Jersey State Police are a police department. They will respond to any call we get.
They don't have them here that often. I mean, they show up, and I've had no problem with that. But it concerns me that they're blatantly putting it out on Facebook about what they're doing, and I'm concerned that people are not realizing that A, they shouldn't be doing it, and B, we're too dry to do this.
It's a valid concern, and if I see it, I call the police. So if you see it, I would just suggest you call the police.
Could I
Go
make
ahead.
a suggestion?
Go ahead.
Does the township committee want to post something on our website that just
A
reminds
reminder?
folks
Sure we
that
can.
given the
Good suggestion.
dry land and brush, to be mindful that we don't want anybody starting any fires that could cause damage to house, property, people, anything. And maybe that it's a timely reminder, given that 4th of July is coming and some people may intend to set off fireworks. Because I think a helpful reminder is probably a helpful thing for residents.
Okay, I will take care of that myself. I do. Do you follow our Facebook page, ma'am? The East Hamilton.
It was on our Facebook page that I saw.
Or on East Amwell Bulletin.
You probably the bulletin board. That's run by a private citizen. East Hamilton Township. Yeah, the township, the government has its own Facebook page. I do share a lot of information through there. So I'll look for that in the next day or two. What I'll do is I'll connect with the fire department or the state police. They usually get like updates or bulletins on this stuff, like warnings ahead of time. Or the state forest fire service would probably have a bulletin out already. And I'll see if I can get a hold of that and circulate that. But thank you for bringing that to our attention. But I hear a lot though, and I will encourage residents, like, treat the state police like our local police department, because they are here to serve us. So I know people say, well, they're not really here, but they are. That's who we call for a problem.
Right, and I've had no problem with it. I mean, they show up very quickly,
Okay,
a few times, whatever needed them.
I understand.
But I just, what if they're out on another, because our township's doing this, everybody else is.
Understand. All right. All right.
Mike,
Anything else?
I have one piece of new business. if
Yes,
I
go
may.
ahead.
So, to let residents know, the township received a complaint that there was some speeding on Lindbergh Road. And when I saw it, I mentioned it to Mike and suggested that we have our DPW get out there with our portable, your speed is signs, to get out right away on Lindbergh to try to deal with that. So I don't know if you have any other report after that, Mike, but.
I do not. I'm hoping that we get those agreements back so we can start that.
Well, yeah, I mean, right, if we have an agreement, obviously we can ask the.
Patrols out.
Delaware Patrols to help as well, but I think right now, since we have 2 movable signs.
Yeah, I'll have
if
them
that's
move it.
where speeders are showing their heads, I think we get right out there with a sign that says, slow down, you're speeding, and if there's an issue, we can then, pursuant to our overall traffic calming strategies and hiring Delaware Township Police Department, get some more help out there. But I think if we do it right away, I think that can address that resident's concern.
We, just an update since you're talking about it, so the state police is interesting. We've been attempting to hire them on overtime also. They will not, there's a hiccup. Because they patrol our town, they have to get special permission to be hired on overtime to come in here and do like special enforcement. And that's been dragging for like better part of a month now, so.
I see, so we can't even go forward with our contract to get help unless the state police sign off?
No. We're looking at this Delaware Township, one entity, and then the state police, another entity. Delaware Township, we're working out some language that came up
Right.
last month.
Right.
The state police was always an option, but they won't take the job if we call them and say, hey, can we get a car for 4 hours on Lindbergh Road? Because this is their general patrol area, they're not supposed to take overtime details for
Well,
speeding.
if they would
for-
just come, I'd pay them regular pay.
Yeah.
So it'll
Well,
solve their
I have
problem.
a good I have a good relationship up there.
No, I know you
They
do.
will, I give them a list of roads, and occasionally I see on social media that they are out ticketing Manners Road and others, so,
Well-
I'll call them also tomorrow and get a car over there.
No, I appreciate your attention to it. I think we've done a lot
It's
to try
speeding's
to
tough,
deal with
it's
speeding.
always, just along the lines of this to new business that I wasn't planning on talking about tonight, but since we're talking about traffic stuff, the bridge issue, the railroad bridge, the county's agreed to add more signage. Somebody had asked for, like Dayton Road has in Raritan Township, the chains that hang down. Their engineers say they can't do that because of the speed of the road. Those chains are only for roads that are under a certain mile per hour, probably under.
So I think we should endorse their theory and agree to go to the lower speed limit.
It's a whole different problem, but we can work on that.
Yeah, I mean, this is for the bridge, right?
For the bridge.
Yeah, so people keep hitting the bridge, so we've asked, like, yeah, hanging chain to give somebody notice.
Yeah.
It seems like it makes sense, right? So if some government official thinks that they can't provide notice like that to the drivers because the speed's too fast, and people keep hitting the bridge, destroying it, and causing extreme danger to residents, I think then they should tell us why the speed limit shouldn't be reduced and we shouldn't be able to have precautions. So I know it's a bureaucratic thing, but my position
Getting
is.
speed limits lowered, I think we all know is a challenge, right?
Yeah, I know, but
Yeah.
we have to say, look, you have to tell us not what we can't do, what can we do?
Right.
Because how many people, I mean, have hit the bridge? I mean, I can
So
think of a half a dozen.
I got official numbers from the state police, and I posted, and I don't wanna see this show up in quotes somewhere. I think it was 18 times in 5 years,
Yeah.
official record.
I remember 2 in the last year, and there were big trucks, and so
The gentleman, Jim Hager, some of you guys may know him, he's involved with the railroad. He said at least 40 times in the last X amount of years he's counted.
I have no doubt.
And again, don't quote me on his numbers, I saw him in the diner and I asked him. But it's a lot, put it that way, it's a lot. I have the official numbers in email from the state police, but I did post that somewhere.
All right, cool.
All right, but I do have a follow-up meeting with Brad, the county administrator, on the signage. I'll revisit your suggestion on lowering the speed if they can
Yeah.
talk about that.
Yep. All right, thanks.
All right, anybody else have new business up here? Okay, being no further business, I need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Anybody want to second that, or you want to sit here all night?
Second.
Second, all right. And carried unanimously to adjourn the meeting
Yes.
at
7:30.
7:30.
All right, good.
Thank you.
Thank you.